Welcome to Arlington County's tutorial for how to submit a plumbing and gas permit application. On the screen is the ePlan Review portal, the online system for submitting a plumbing and gas permit, which can be accessed by going to building.arlingtonva.us. If this is your first time using the ePlan system, you can register for an account by clicking on Register for an Account. This is a separate account from the Permit Arlington system or the inspection systems. Once you have an account, please click on Sign In. Enter your username and password. This is the home screen you will see each time you log in. You can see the permits you've started or submitted here. You can see general status information as well as missing documents. So you can see the permit ID number here, what you've named the project, the date you submitted it, and the status, which can be things like missing plan documents, resubmission required, or application incomplete. Finally, you can open up any existing permit by clicking on the folder icon on the far right of the permit. To submit a new project, click the drop-down on the far left side of the screen. There will be a series of permit types that appear. You want to select the permit type that applies to your project. This guide will focus on the plumbing and gas permit application. Once the permit type is selected, click Add Project. This will take you to the permit application. Start by typing your ePlan username. By entering this, you will be able to pull up contact lookup information if you've entered that earlier. If you haven't entered any contact lookups, don't worry, you can still manually enter that information on the permit application. Next, you want to select yes or no if there is a building permit associated with this project. If a building permit is provided, then the number must be entered here, and that building permit must be approved, issued, and active. If the building permit is not yet active and one is required, a plumbing and gas permit can be saved for now and submitted after the building permit is active. Once the permit is submitted, staff will validate that the building permit matches the scope of work outlined on the plumbing and gas permit application. If there are multiple building permits, then a separate plumbing permit and gas permit application must be submitted for each building permit. If a building permit number is not provided, as we're going to do in this example here, then additional questions will appear on the application. Also, depending on the scope of work, plans may be required to be uploaded and sent to plan review. There is another tutorial on uploading plans and documents. Please be aware that some projects require a building permit to be approved and issued before the plumbing and gas permit can be processed. In some cases, red help text will appear to inform you of that. In others, you will be notified at a later date as part of permit processing. In this case, you can see the red help text that popped up here informing us that plan review may be required and you may have to upload plans before submitting. At this point, I want to mention that you can click Add Project in the upper right or lower right-hand part of the application, and then click on Save Progress and Return Later at any point in the process. This is helpful if you need to look up information like the building permit number and come back later to complete the permit application. Next is the question about the type of building this project is located within. This question is used to determine if the project is considered residential or commercial according to the Virginia Uniform Statewide Building Code. I will select No for this permit. This tutorial is still applicable if the answer to the question is yes, but some different questions may appear. Now select the permit holder. That is the person who's responsible for the work done under this permit. Depending on which option is selected, certain fields may be required on the application or certain forms will be required to be uploaded. This will be identified on the application. For more information about permit holder, please visit building.arlingtonva.us. You may have noticed that some fields have a red asterisk next to them. Those fields are required to be filled in order to submit the permit application. I'm purposely not going to fill out some of these fields to show what happens when we try to submit an application and questions are incomplete. When filling out the job address and the tenant or homeowner information, please make sure to use the entire tenant name or the entire homeowner name. For example, please don't provide only the first name. Also, please make sure the phone numbers you provide on the application are the best for reaching the individuals listed. Our inspections and permitting, as well as plan review teams, may reach out to these numbers for clarification throughout the permitting process. If the permit holder is the contractor, as we've selected here, please enter the contractor name, address, and state license number as it appears on the Virginia Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation, also known as DPOR. If the permit holder is not the contractor, please leave these fields blank. If the permit holder is the contractor, a current Arlington County business license or reciprocity is required. If you do not have either of these for the current year, please contact Arlington County's Business Tax Division to obtain one or the other before submitting. Please enter the entire business license number in this field only if you have an Arlington County business license. If the contractor has reciprocity, please upload the email from Arlington County's Business Tax Division confirming reciprocity. Next, we're going to fill out the legal owner fields. Please enter the legal owner information as it appears on Arlington County's real estate assessment website. A link to look up the property and the owner is provided on the application here. If there are multiple job addresses according to real estate assessment, then a separate plumbing and gas permit application must be submitted for each address where the work is occurring. If the legal owner does not match Arlington County real estate assessment information, please upload a copy of the signed deed or closing disclosure for the current legal owner. Next, please select if this permit is only for gas, only for plumbing, or for both gas and plumbing. This affects the questions that appear. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to select both gas and plumbing. If you only select one, you'll only see the questions for that type of work. Then provide a brief description of the work. The purpose of this is to make sure the scope of work for the plumbing and gas permit matches with the boxes checked below, as well as aligns with the scope of the building permit if one is provided. For this example, I'm going to write renovate existing apartments and expand kitchen. This assumes that we're renovating multiple apartments within a building. Now I'm going to continue through the application by clicking on the checkboxes or selecting the drop downs of the work that will be included in this permit. If your work doesn't include an item, simply leave that box unchecked. If your work includes a right-of-way permit, you want to make sure you say yes to does it include any exterior underground water, sewer, stormwater, plumbing work, or other land disturbance, and provide the right-of-way permit number here. For this example, I'm going to say no. This application and tutorial are still applicable for those that include right-of-way permits. Next, I'm going to check that I have gas appliances or equipment. Most checkboxes will require more information about the quantity or type of work once you check the box. Please fill out the fields that show up. In this case, I'm going to say I'm replacing a water heater in the same location for each of the 100 units in the apartment building. So under the replacement list of appliances, I'm going to type water heater. And then under the total number of gas appliances or equipment that are being replaced, I'm going to put 100 since there are 100 water heaters for 100 units. I'm also going to be adding another gas stove and a gas dryer in each unit. So in the appliances and equipment that are new or replacements in a different location, I'm going to write stove and gas dryers. Now, because there'll be one stove and one gas dryer for a total of 2 new or moved appliances, I'm going to put 200 for 100 units times the 2 different appliances, 100 stoves, 100 dryers, one for each unit. Now, if you accidentally check a box that isn't part of the scope of work, such as replacing automatic gas valves here, simply uncheck the box to remove it. If work does not apply, again, we can leave it blank. So in this case, I'm not making any updates to the sewer or water services, so I'm going to leave this section blank and then go on to the bathroom section. If a box has multiple fields that show up, again, you only need to fill out the fields that are relevant. In this case, I'm replacing bathrooms in the same location as various bathroom groups. And I can leave the other fields as 0. As mentioned earlier, some items may require a building permit before the plumbing permit can be submitted. Red text should pop up for those items when a building permit is required, but it is possible that this information will be provided later on in the permit processing. Now, I'm going to continue to fill out the rest of the permit application so I can submit. Once you reach the end of the application, you'll notice that there's a box for other information. For other plumbing fixtures, features, receptacles, appliances, piping, or drains. This only needs to be filled out if there are items that were not already accounted for in the rest of the application above. Otherwise, please leave this box blank. Then you'll notice that there are additional questions at the end of the application. Please make sure you answer each of these. I'm going to leave one blank just so you can see what happens when we have things not filled in. Finally, please fill out your information as the applicant. The email address that's entered here will be used for all communication about this permit, including the permit status update, rejection comments, and fee information. So please make sure that you use an email that you check regularly. Please also make sure that you're using an accurate phone number so we can easily reach out to you if we have any questions. Now, at the bottom right or top right of the permit application, I can click Add to submit my project. In this case, the system won't let me submit the permit application without all the required fields completed. So I'm going to scroll through the required fields and see where I accidentally left things blank. These should show up as red boxes. You want to make sure you scroll all the way up to the top of the application just in case something's missing. Then click Add Project either in the upper right or lower right corners. It may take a few moments for your project to load, but once the project has been submitted, you will see a project ID appear in the upper left-hand corner of the project information page here, or the upper left of the system information under project ID. The permit number will appear once a permit specialist has processed in your application. You will reference the project ID throughout the project, and the permit number will be used for items like inspections. Now that we've completed the entire application, I can save or I can submit for review. The Submit for Review button is the button in the upper right-hand corner that is bright green. Based on the answers to the questions, the project requires plans or other documents to be uploaded and submitted before I can turn over to review. The application can't be submitted until that's done. If you have a project that requires plans or documents, please see our other video about how to upload those plans and documents. If the permit did not require plans or other documents, then the project can be submitted without further actions. You'll receive an email from the system at critical points that require you to take actions, or you can check back in the portal to see status at any time. Please be aware that permits that include new plumbing fixtures will require the Department of Environmental Services review to analyze fixture counts, even if plans aren't required. To learn more about the steps of the permitting process, how to upload plans, how to schedule inspections, and other information critical to the permitting process, please visit the website building.arlingtonva.us.